Hey guys, TLS here inside Guild Wars 2. It is the final beta weekend for Heart of Thorns, and I'm looking through all of the elite specialization, everything new that is coming to the game for all the professions, and I would like to in this video give you the most important thing that is coming in Heart of Thorns, and that is the brand new profession of the Revenant. Now there's a lot to go over for the Revenant, from weapon skills to utility skills, so we're going to break it up into a couple of videos. In this first video I kind of want to explain what is the Revenant, like how does it work, and take a look at the weapon skills that you will be getting for this new profession. Now, the Revenant, it works on an energy system. So if you look down here, I've got this 50% bar. It says I have an energy bar of 50%. And when I get into combat, I'll run up here and I'll get into combat. It'll start building. It starts building out of combat. And then there are abilities that consume it. So for instance, this will consume 35. You can see it jump down there. And as you consume abilities, it'll jump all the way down, possibly even down to 0. And if it jumps down to 0, you can switch stances, and it'll automatically jump back up to 50%, or jump down to 50% depending on where you are, and it'll start building up from there again. So you can see a switch here, goes down to 50%, use abilities, jumps down. There are even some abilities that cause it to drain, and then it has to go back the other direction. So it's all about the management of your energy. It starts out at 50% when you're out of combat. You cannot start at 100, you cannot start at 0, you wouldn't want to start at 0. But all of the abilities except for your basic attacks generally will require you to use some sort of energy. And for the most part, you're going to be cooldown locked like most of the classes, Thief being the exception. Most of the classes are mostly cooldown locked and when they can use their abilities. That's mostly going to be the case for the Revenant, but you will have to be careful when using different utility skills. Now, you have access to different legendary stances. So right now I'm invoking the power of the legendary Dwarf King Jalis Ironhammer. And then I also have with me the legendary assassin Shiro Tagachi. You can also have access to the legendary demon stance. So you can invoke the power of the legendary demon Malix the Unyielding. And then you can also have the Centaur stance, invoke the power of the legendary Centaur Ventari. Excuse me. So, you have those 4 stances. If you decide to go the elite specialization of the Herald, you will be granted a 5th dragon stance. But otherwise, you have those 4, and you can choose 2 to have in combat with you at any time. They do have a recharge rate, like a cooldown when you switch stances, very much like weapon swapping, but otherwise not too big. So with that said, you kind of understand how you will fight as a Revenant. With that being said, I want to look at the weapon skills of the Revenant. The Revenant have 2 main hand weapon skills, 2 offhand weapon skills, or weapon abilities, weapons at their disposal, and then 2 two-handed weapons at their disposal. So you have basically 4 rows of weapon skills, 20 weapon skills total to go through and look at. The first 2 that we're going to look at are going to be sword, sword in the main hand, sword in the offhand, and then hammer as well. So sword in the main hand, we have the first ability is preparation thrust. You stab your foe with your sword, inflicting vulnerability. The second in the progression is brutal blade. Send your blade outward, dealing damage foes and inflicting vulnerability. When it reaches its endpoint, the blade will return to you. This has a 450-yard range. And then the last is rift slash foes, creating a rift on them that explodes for additional damage after a short delay. So I will use this. As you can see, I deal damage. You can see the distance on the second in the progression there. But that is your basic 1 attack, 1-1-1-1 attack for a main hand sword. The second ability here is Precision Strike. You strike foes with precision, sending out blades that damage and chill them. Notice how up in the top right hand corner, with the exception of how long it takes for the time for the attack to execute, and the cooldown of the ability, you can see the 5 with a little like I guess you could say, science-looking jar there. That is how much energy it's going to take. So it'll drop it to 45% when I get into combat here, and then it'll continue to grow. So as you can see, it drops there. It didn't even get all the way down to 45% because it was already moving up to 46% as it was going. That is the second ability. You basically are just applying frost to your target. Chilled, excuse me. The third is Unrelenting Assault. You shadow step and unleash fierce attacks on nearby foes, gain might each time you damage a foe. This has you flying all over the place. So I'll use this here. I'm jumping all over the place, dealing damage to this target. If there are multiple targets in the area, you will be jumping to all different targets to deal your damage. The fourth here is Duelist Preparation. Assume defensive stance, blocking incoming attacks. Now, if you are blocked, you will be able to slice through the air, do a shackling wave, slice through the air, sending a wave of energy from mist towards your foe. I don't really have a good example of showing that, but that is what it does right there, that ability. Number 5 is Grasping Shadow. Stab your foe, connecting them to you, shadow step backward, and pull them towards you. So you can pull someone out of a crowd with this ability. As you can see, I can drag them out here. Because it is a bot, it's auto-locked to the center there, but you are able to grab someone with that ability, so it's pretty cool. That is the entirety of the sword kit. I really like the number 3. I haven't found a single person who didn't like number 3. It's just a lot of fun to use. So that is the essence of the sword that you have, and as you can see, I use it from a distance there, that number 3 ability. You jump all over the place. Now, the next is the hammer. The next up is the hammer. And this is your long range. This is the 1200 yard range for the Revenant. Pretty odd for the hammer to be long range, but it also makes things interesting. The first is your basic hammer bolt. Hurl your weapon at enemies, striking foes in its path. Damage, and it's a physical projectile basically. Nothing real big. So I'm just going to go ahead and toss it out here. You can see. Pretty basic. The second ability is Coalescence of Ruin. Slam the ground with your hammer, creating a cascading eruption of energy. So I'm going to get back as far as I can so you can see this is a 1200 yard range. You can see right there, it just goes all the way out. Lots of damage. Number 3 is Phase Smash. Leap through the mist to a target area. When you land, you damage and chill foes in the area and then teleport back to your previous location. So I can jump here. As you can see, I kind of like teleport out and then deal the chilled on my way. It is a blast finisher, but also note that it is evade, because since you are teleporting, you are evading. So if you time it just right, you can evade a burst from someone by using Phase Smash, evading away from them. The number 4 ability is Field of Mist. Create a field of mist that blocks incoming projectiles in front of you. So if a ranger is unloading from you, towards you, you can go ahead and put this up, and this will block, and it will follow your eyesight. So this is something that's a little bit different that they added into the game. Just kind of have to be, you know, aware of where you're moving, where your eyesight is on your character. The last ability here is Drop the Hammer. You summon a massive hammer from the mist to strike the ground. This is massive knockdown, and that's basically it. So that is the hammer that is available. That is the long-range weapon of the Revenant. If you want to do support from a distance, or you have no means of really engaging, if you're in a massive world-to-world ball and you can't really engage yet at the moment, you can fire off your hammer at a distance until you can actually get in close. The next 2 abilities, the new weapons that we're going to look at, is going to be the staff, and then we're also going to look at the mace with the offhand of an axe. So with the mace, you have your Misery Swipe, swing your mace at your foe, dealing damage and adding torment. Anguish Swipe, sweep your mace back for a second blow, damage and torment again. And then lastly, Manifest Toxin, deliver a crushing blow that sends toxic energy chaining to enemies behind the target. And this is poison in this case. So torment, torment, poison is basically the progression for the Revenant in this. The second is Searing Fissure. Searing Fissure. Smash your mace into the ground, causing flames to erupt from the mist. So I'll go ahead and fire this off. It'll give burning, 480 yard range. See right there. Pretty evident combo field. It's a fire combo field there. Echoing Eruption, leap at your foe and deliver a massive attack that cascades outwards. Each attack area is a blast finisher. So this can be useful with the fire field that you create from Searing Fissure. So I'll go ahead and use Searing Fissure before I use this, and then I'll jump forward. And you can see right there, I created an area of mine. Blast finisher on that one. So that is Echoing Eruption. Now moving into the axe offhand, we have Frigid Blitz. Hurl your axe at your target, damaging and chilling the foes the axe passes through. When the axe reaches your target, shadow step to it and deliver a large blow. This is your gap closer. So I'll go ahead and use this, and I actually jump behind the target. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to come back here and use it again, so you can see what it does again. But I will jump behind the foe, and then I can go ahead and do what I want from backstab. Pretty cool. So, the last ability here is Temporal Rift. You slice into the mist, creating an unstable rift. After a short duration, this rift will collapse in on itself, pulling in enemies. I'm going to detarget and try and fire this off to the left so you can see what this is. This rift is huge, 900-yard range. You will see it. It explodes. It will be a wrecking ball because it's like it sucks in everyone. So it's something different. Launched out here, it went straight towards the target, which is disappointing. But it pulls everyone into the rift. Collapse in on itself, pulling enemies in, but that is Temporal Rift, 15-second cooldown. Pretty powerful ability to have for your axe offhand. Let me use it again here. You can see the rift right there, and it did pull it to the side that time, so you saw it just a little bit there. So that is the mace main hand with the axe offhand. The last weapon that is available to a Revenant is going to be the staff, or the stave. So you have, first in your progression is rapid swipe. Swipe your staff at your foe. Simple damage. Forceful bash. Bash your foe with your staff. Simple damage. And then last is rejuvenating assault. Cleave foes around you with your staff, creating healing orbs for you and your allies. So this is more support-esque. It goes well with one of the legendary stances that you'll be able to use, the Centaur stance. And you can see the little bubbles popping up that are the heal bubbles from it. The second ability is Punishing Sweep. Sweep your staff at your foe. Gain access to Debilitating Slam if your foe is using a skill while struck. So, go ahead and use this. Just an upward, and like an uppercut of the staff. The third is Warding Rift, creating rift in the mist, warding you from the attack. When the rift is open, projectiles will hit nearby foes, blinding them. So, when you use this, create the rift, blind the foes. The bot was blinded right there. The fourth ability is Renewing Wave. Send out a wave of mist energy that heals and removes conditions from allies. So, this is AoE centered on me, healing and removing damage. This is your support ability as a Revenant. Your ability to heal out there. The last ability on the staff is going to be Surge of the Mist. Charge forward, knocking back enemies that cross your path. And does damage, gives you some evade, 600-yard range. You can see it right here, pretty cool. Knock people back. But that is the staff makeup for the Revenant, and that is all of the weapon skills that are available to a Revenant in Heart of Thorns. The only thing that I have left out are the shield skills, but I will cover those in the elite specialization because you can only use those if you are in the Herald. In the next video I will discuss the stances, which will cover all of the utility skills that are available for a Revenant. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Tearless out. See ya.